Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. There's a website for Kathy. Feel free to freeze frame there if you need to, or if you'd like to, of course, to grab that information. Supportive Oracle cards. Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. Illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. Websites torihartman.com, watkinspublishing.co.uk, or watkinspublishing.com down here. If you need to freeze frame there, feel free to do that as well. All right, what do we have for Aries? I'm going to put those there. Okay, let's see what we got. You're starting off with a good card. Actually, your cards feel pretty good. Yours do actually feel pretty good. Starting off with Temperance, which is an active card. Even though you have to wait for things to come forward and work out and come together. It's still actively working on something. It's almost like if you're gardening, for example, and you got to wait for a plant to grow before you can get the fruit, right? Or the vegetable or whatever you're getting. While you're doing that, you could still tend to the leaves, make sure it's, the soil's aerate, make sure the soil's taken care of. You water it, you trim the plant back, you take off the dead leaves if something's not well, you keep an eye on it. So it's kind of like you're still caring for a situation, you're tending to it, you're trying to make sure it does work out the best it can. Yeah, you gotta wait for things to completely come to fruition, but you still have a lot to do while that's happening. You gotta keep it going. And you seem to be very active and very good with this. You seem to also, if this reading's gonna hit, you're at peace with it when I'm getting this, because it kind of matches your energy. Kind of like, yeah, I know it's gonna take a while, but I got a lot to do to keep it going, to try to get the best success out of this that I can. And I should see where it's going, and I should see it growing and coming forward in its time. And because I got other things to do anyway, it doesn't really bother me. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm growing this, and I'm tending to it, but I got things over here I got to do, I got things over there. And I kind of come back and I check on it in intervals, and I accept that this is how it's going to go, so it doesn't bother me. It's fine. And this energy seems to be how this is starting. Now, you are really excited about it. You got the Five of Wands, Passion with the Destiny. Okay, so I said all that about doing other things. For some of you, if you're not doing that, that might be suggested. This is when a fire sign is good at what is something I kind of want to use cooking, but not really. But maybe knitting or writing. Writing is probably a good one too. When you switch it out with other things, it's not the only thing you're doing, but while you're doing you're getting this done, you're sitting down and you're doing this, but then you're getting up and you're doing that, and then you're going over and you're doing this. It's kind of like keeping yourself busy with other things. So if you're getting frustrated, I feel like this is kind of like this. I feel like this is a really good thing for fire signs. If there's something you have to wait for, as long as there's other things you can do while you wait. I do have a bit of fire on my chart, actually, and I feel like I do this. It's kind of like if I go to a doctor's office, right? Probably gonna get in trouble for this, but oh well. I don't mind waiting if I can do things on my phone, or if I'm able to do something while I'm waiting. Like if there's emails I can answer or texts I can answer on my phone, even though I don't really answer emails on my phone really very often. But or even if I have a game to play on my phone, if there's something I can do while I'm waiting, or especially if I'm cooking, that's another good example, probably a better example. While I'm getting that done, or I've created something and I put it in the oven, then I get the dishes done, then I get this other stuff done. Maybe there's a couple other tasks. I pop online and check on the bills, make sure the bills are paid. I go, get the mail while I'm waiting, and I go sort through the mail. as long as I can keep something else busy, it doesn't bother me that I have to wait an hour or so for whatever it is cooking in the oven. It's fine. I don't mind as long as I can do this, I can do that, I can get this out of the way, I can get that out of the way. And that might actually be the advice here for you. That might be what we're getting into right in the beginning, is the advice about how to handle this, because it's kind of like you're going to want to walk away from whatever this is. Why? Yeah, because you have the need, because more things are going to come forward and entice you. The thing is to already occupy yourself with other things. It's kind of like, all right, so if you're waiting for the plants to grow, we're going to use that analogy again because we're jumping all over the place. But then you're like, well, the land I'm using for that, oh, wouldn't that be better to have this here? I'd rather have a shed, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe I want to have a pool. Yeah, I want to dig out this area, and maybe I want to have a pool instead. So do I want to keep my garden, or do I want to give up on the garden and have it dug out and make a pool instead? Or a water garden, or whatever else. Or maybe I want to plant something different. Like, oh, I was waiting for these, but maybe forget this garden with the fruit and vegetables. Maybe instead I'll pull all that out and I'll plant some trees instead, blah, blah, blah. You're getting all these other ideas of things you'd rather do, or maybe not rather do, or other ideas you could do instead. Like if I have to wait anyway, maybe I'll do that instead. Energy is really fast too, I'm noticing. Really, really fast. I'm wondering, some of you might have to go down and slow down how fast the video plays. I think it's down in the right corner. There's a way to slow down the video if I'm talking too fast, because I feel like I'm saying a lot and fast. The trick is to not let yourself be distracted with those things. Distract yourself with things that keep you on your goal so you can get to your outcome that you want, because there's going to be the temptation to go in a different direction. The challenge is to stick with what you have and distract yourself with things that don't derail you from what you're already working on. That's the challenge here. Because there's something really good to have here. It's just kind of like, thinking, well, I have an outcome with this that's a good benefit, but what if I go here? Would that be a better benefit? Or what if I go there? Would that be a better benefit? The thing is, no matter what you choose, it's going to take some time to come to fruition. And if you keep changing direction, you're never going to get anywhere. Like you start going north, then you're like, oh, actually, let me go east. And then you go east, and you're like, oh, well, let me go south. And then you go south, and you go, let me go west. Then you go west. And you're like, oh, wait, I'm back to where I started. It's not going to work out for you. Or you just keep going in random directions. You just never seem to actually hit a destination. You just halfway get everywhere you go. That's not going to work for you either. The energy wants to move forward fast. I feel like I gotta just calm down and slow down. I feel like I just want to race through everything. Okay. You got the Queen of Wands here with your energy, which don't get caught up in the gender, but you're very passionate, and there's a lot of good motivation behind you, like a lot of power behind you. You just want to do your best to try to stay on track. It says prayer, but it's kind of like try to get your best, find your best movement forward, find your best goal, and just stick with your best goal, and don't let yourself get pulled off your best goal. Keep distracting yourself with things that are helpful, but don't let it change your main goal. Always stick with your main goal. Let things, keep your attention and keep moving here and keep moving there, but always, for example, if you're going to go a direction and you're going to go north, let things that distract you keep you going north. Don't let them pull you this way and pull you that way, and then you're going east, and you're going west, and you're going east, and you're going south, and you're going north, and you're going west. Keep going in the same direction. Let things that are going to distract you keep going in that same direction. You know what I mean? Like, the energy just is going all over the place, so I'm trying to hone it in. Because it seems like there's a lot of ideas and a lot of energy going a lot of different directions. And I feel like other people are trying to get you to go in different directions too. There is some confusion around this. Because I'm like, what is going on with that? Is somebody putting things in front of you? Or is somebody trying to make things complicated? Is there another element here? Because I get once you decide on your goal, you can stick with it, but something is throwing you off. I feel like this is odd for Aries. I don't know. I'm sure I'll hear it in the comments, but something seems to there must be something around you that's doing this and making things really confusing. Because I feel like Aries is kind of like, when you start something, you're like, it's all or nothing, and you're all in or you're not. Something seems to be like making you waver or getting you, distracting you really strongly. I feel like we need to kind of identify what's distracting you too. Something that I've noticed in my own life is like if something else is going wrong, you might have something over here, like you're working on your garden and you got that going, but something else is going wrong and you can't fix it. It might throw off the balance of your whole life. And that's when these things start happening, where you keep changing direction and you never seem to make it to the goal that you want to make, because there's a problem over here that you've kind of accepted that you can't fix. You might have to identify what that problem is and make some hard decisions, because it's throwing off your whole life. It's throwing off the balance of your life. That changed. Well, it didn't change. Like, this might be what the reason is that this is happening. And it's kind of like, wait a minute. What is the root of the problem? Because I've seen that happen with Aries. I have seen that happen with Aries. When life gets really crazy and there's one problem that they can't solve, so they stop addressing it and they just keep working on other things, it just keeps switching the channel. It's like watching TV and it just keeps switching that channel and switching that channel, because you'll start working on something else and your attention will go back to the thing you can't fix, or you feel you can't fix. And then you're like, okay, let me switch the channel again, and you just keep switching channels back and forth, and it just keeps going all over the place. This could be like a highlight that there's something here going on that is causing a big problem, and there is a solution. We just got to find out to what the solution is, because there's a decision that needs to be made, but for some reason you might be walking away from it. This is a general read, so take this with a grain of salt. Sometimes it's romantic relationships, sometimes it's a job where you feel like, I'm stuck here, I can't go anywhere else, I have to have this paycheck, I can't make this money anywhere else, or I'm with this person, I've made a commitment, I don't want this relationship anymore, but I've committed to it, so I'm going to stick with it, but you're very unhappy. You either know if that hits or doesn't. That shouldn't be like, well, maybe, no. You either know if that hits or doesn't. If you're like not sure, then that's not for you, but it's kind of like addressing something that's a problem that maybe you've been walking away from, and that's throwing your whole life off the balance. It's kind of like we have to find a way to address it and fix it, or start fixing it in some way, at least taking steps to try to fix it. And for example, like the job thing, because I've been caught in this myself, when you start making a certain amount of money, this was years ago, it's kind of like I'm very comfortable with that. I felt like I couldn't go anywhere else and make the same type of money. So I had to like really, after a while, think about it. Like, well, maybe you could downsize. Maybe you don't need this. Maybe you don't need that. And if you have to cut back on a couple things, maybe you'll be happier with less eating out, dialing back on this, dialing back on that. I think I actually canceled my TV, my cable at the time. I didn't actually need to, but that's how I prepared for it. I canceled all these things, pulled everything back, and I got used to, before I had to get used to it, I got used to it, then I made my change. Ironically, I never had to actually do that, but I never did get cable back, because I'm like, I don't watch it anyway, so why bother? And I watch the internet more anyway, and everything's on internet, right? Netflix and all that stuff, so why bother? But it's kind of like maybe we have to start reevaluating what we're dealing with, because there's something throwing off your life that's creating all this imbalance. And it's kind of like maybe we have to accept something that we have to change, and realize that something I thought was unfixable, there must be a way to fix it, because it's driving me nuts and it's throwing everything else off. Once I get that in line, everything else will go in line as well, and things will go a lot better. All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you again, and have a great day.